Look at your skin right now. It's clean, unmarked, smooth. But for thousands of years, your ancestors looked at their skin and saw something else. A canvas. They carved into it. They punctured it. They rubbed pigment into the wounds. And when the wounds healed, the marks stayed. Those marks told stories. They marked status. They healed the sick. They connected the living to the dead. And they did it for longer than you can imagine. 5,000 years ago, a man died in the Alps. He had 61 tattoos on his body. And they weren't decoration. They were medicine.
Ötzi the Iceman is the oldest tattooed human ever found. He lived around 3300 BCE. His body was preserved in ice for over 5,000 years. When scientists examined him, they found something unexpected. His tattoos weren't just symbols. They were placed precisely over joints that showed signs of wear and tear. His ankles, his knees, his lower back, his wrists. The same places where people today get arthritis. Ötzi had tattoos in the exact spots where his bones were degrading. He didn't get them for decoration. He got them for pain relief. But Ötzi wasn't the first.
The oldest evidence of tattooing is much older. Much older. In 2018, archaeologists found a tattoo kit in a cave in Turkey. It was 6,000 years old. But that's not the oldest. In 2020, researchers discovered a figurine in Japan with markings that suggest tattooed skin. It's 12,000 years old. And in 2023, a new study changed everything. Scientists found a 39,000-year-old bone with carved lines that match tattoo patterns. The bone was probably used to mix pigment. Tattooing is at least 39,000 years old, possibly older. But here's the part nobody talks about. We didn't just tattoo our skin. We tattooed our identity.
The word tattoo comes from the Polynesian word tatau. It means to mark. But the practice is so ancient that every culture everywhere has a version of it. In ancient Egypt, tattoos were found on priestesses and dancers. The markings were symbolic. They offered protection and fertility. In ancient China, tattoos were used as punishment. Criminals were marked so everyone would know what they'd done. In ancient Greece, tattoos were used to identify slaves and spies. But in other cultures, tattoos were sacred.
In Polynesia, tattoos were a rite of passage. They marked your status, your lineage, your courage. A man without tattoos was invisible. He had no identity. In ancient Peru, tattoos were part of religious ritual. The marks connected the living to the gods. In ancient Scythia, warriors covered their bodies in tattoos. They believed the marks gave them power, strength, protection in battle. Every culture, everywhere, has used tattoos to say something about who they are. But here's the part that's hard to understand. For most of human history, tattoos weren't about beauty. They were about survival. Let's go back to Ötzi. When scientists looked at his tattoos, they saw something remarkable. His tattoos were small, simple, just a few lines and crosses. But they were placed precisely, exactly where he had pain. Anthropologists believe the tattoos were part of a healing ritual, a kind of early acupuncture. The pigment was rubbed into the wound, and the body's immune response would flood the area with healing cells. The marks weren't decoration. They were medicine. But Ötzi wasn't alone. Around the world, ancient people used tattoos to heal. In Siberia, indigenous people tattooed their joints to relieve pain. In the Andes, mummies show tattoos placed exactly where there was arthritis. In ancient Egypt, women tattooed their abdomens to protect against infertility. For thousands of years, people believed that marks on the skin could heal the body beneath. And they weren't wrong. In 2018, a team of scientists at the University of Utah published a study on ancient tattooing. They found that the pigments used in ancient tattoos, charcoal, ash, iron oxide, actually stimulate the immune system. The body attacks the pigment. Immune cells flood the area, and those immune cells release chemicals that reduce pain. The ancient healers didn't know why it worked. They just knew it did. But tattoos weren't just medicine. They were memory. In 2016, a team of archaeologists found something extraordinary, a 1,000-year-old mummy in Peru. The mummy had tattoos on her arms, legs, and face, and the tattoos were incredibly detailed. When the scientists looked closer, they realized something. The tattoos were portraits. They showed people, animals, patterns that matched textile designs. This woman was wearing her family history on her skin. Her tattoos were a visual autobiography. And that's when it clicked. Tattoos are the oldest form of writing. Before there was paper, there was skin. Before there was ink on a page, there was ink on a body. Before there were books, there were people walking around with their stories written on their arms. Tattoos are older than the alphabet, older than the first book, older than the first written law. They are the first permanent record of who we are. Think about that. For 39,000 years, humans have been using their bodies to tell stories, to mark identity, to heal, to grieve, to celebrate. And that's what makes tattoos so powerful. They are a choice. You can take away my tools. You can take away my home. You can take away my freedom. But you can't take away what's on my skin. Tattoos are permanent. They are a refusal to be erased. In many ancient cultures, tattoos were used to mark slaves. But in other cultures, tattoos were used to mark free people. To say, I am not owned. I am not controlled. I am my own. That's why tattooing survived. It survived because it means something. It always has.
Now, come back to you. When you look at a tattoo, what do you see? Art, rebellion, identity? You're looking at a tradition that is older than agriculture, older than writing, older than the wheel. You're looking at something that connects you to every human who ever lived. Because every human, everywhere, has wanted to leave a mark. We mark our bodies, we mark our walls, we mark our land. We leave traces of ourselves wherever we go. And tattoos are the most permanent of those traces. When you get a tattoo, you are doing something ancient, something primal, something human. You are saying, I was here. I mattered. I will not be forgotten. So the next time you see a tattoo, remember, you are looking at a story that began 39,000 years ago. A story written in charcoal and ash. A story that survived ice, fire, and time. You are looking at the first permanent record of who we are. And if that story means something to you, if you feel that ancient mark somewhere in your skin, then stick around. There's more where this came from. We're digging up the past, one mark, one memory, one tattoo at a time. Subscribe, and we'll keep exploring together.